The tea is good with the pomegranate
tea is
taste.
amazing.
Thank you for accepting to be part of this episode.
Thank you. It's fun and it's an honor.
So Nora is telling us about her American film.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is that there was a period in my life where earlier on I did all these films when I was young and pretty and beautiful and all
You're
that.
Still very pretty.
Oh, thank you very much. And then a time comes when you fall through the cracks because you're no longer 30 and under, and you're no longer 55, 60 and over. Somewhere in between, there are no roles for women in their 40s and early 50s.
I've heard this so many times, from
very interesting
Hollywood actresses that talk a lot about this. Yes,
yeah, it's either older women or younger chicks.
Right, right.
So now I'm getting into the older women era and roles are coming. So one of the roles I did, which is very interesting, it was called Absolute Dominion by Lexi Alexander, who's quite a well-known Hollywood filmmaker. And she's half Palestinian, half German, now lives in Germany. And in the film, I am playing a secondary character, but a key character, and I'm wearing a Palestinian outfit. And it is now distributed and it's on 5 different platforms, including Amazon and this and that. So you can do Absolute Dominion and you can watch it.
Yeah, we'll definitely make a point to watch this.
It's a futuristic, it's happening in 2065.
Oh.
And about peace in the world and...
It's funny because I'm studying future narratives at the University of Edinburgh, and this is the kind of storytelling that we do, and how are we going to tell the stories of the future? And I'd like to see this film to see how the director and the writers have actually pinpointed stories of the future where someone with a Palestinian outfit is represented.
Fits inside of that film.
So let's just maybe start from where you are now. You're in Armenia today, and you are working on a play, a performance.
It's an interesting play which had been proposed to me by Hago Prazantian, who was the director of the play, a couple of years ago, actually, maybe a year and a half ago. And we were having a hard time finding the time because the last 3 years I've been very, very busy doing feature films and television series, which we can talk about later. And it was difficult for me to commit because theater requires a longer period of commitment, unlike film. And because
film you shoot and you're done. It does its own.
Exactly.
It has its own
and
life.
are you on the film for a week, 2, 3, whatever the length of time you're needed, and then you're off to somewhere else. But with theater, it's a commitment, and then also commitment the fact that I work in Paris and New York, and coming to Armenia and being in a play for X number of weeks or whatever is difficult. Even difficult for me to do a play in New York or Paris, let alone
because it
Armenia.
commits you to that one specific place for a duration of time that you can't do anything else elsewhere.
The advantage with doing a play in Armenia is that unlike Paris or New York, where once you do the play, it runs for a certain length of time, in Armenia, they do it 2 or 3 times, and then maybe do it outside of Yerevan a few times, and then it goes into the theater's repertory.
How did you start with theater?
Wow, theater has been part of my life from a very early age. At school, I was discovered, if we can say that, by one of my teachers who one day came to our class. He was not the form teacher, or he wasn't teaching us anything, but he was kind of like a substitute teacher that would come every once in a while when it was needed.
Let's open the brackets. Are you still in Egypt? Because that's where you were born.
Yes. This happened in Egypt. Yes,
so it started at an
Egypt,
early
at
age.
the Armenian school in Egypt, Nubarian Armenian school. Yeah. And this teacher came to our class and he said, okay, today I'm going to tell you about something. The Armenian Cultural Organization, which was a club we had in downtown Cairo, is holding a competition. And since he used to recite poetry, That's what he focused on. And he discovered that I had a facility, a talent for that.
Yeah.
So he immediately put me down and registered me.
So glad to see that that happened at a very early age. But then how did you go from a student performing in the community to the actual professional stage?
And that happened when my ex-husband, Gerald Papazian, who now lives in Armenia, he was doing 2 plays, 2 one-act plays together in one evening, and he was performing with this actress who he used to work with all the time, and for the other play he was looking for another actress.
Still in Armenian?
Still in Armenian and still in Egypt.
Okay.
Yeah. And someone from the club, and that started a whole new chapter in my life.
A personal one as well.
A personal one, as well as performances, plays, and so on, one after the other.
So pineapples growing there.
Pineapples.
In different parts of your life.
The spill. I'm going to come to the spill. So when I was in my last year of school, secondary school in Egypt, there was a dance company, folk dance company in Cairo, and we had a ballet meister from Moisiev Dance Ensemble, Armenian. She was there to teach at the Egyptian Conservatoire, but the Armenian club had recruited her to come and teach us once a week Armenian dances and so on. At the community. At the community club.
Did you know that I danced 15 years on stage?
Wow.
In my community.
I can imagine.
We traveled everywhere with that.
Yeah, it's fun, isn't it?
It's a lot of fun.
And the teacher had seen that, the choreographer had seen that I have a facility for that. She had given me 2 solo numbers and said, I will arrange for you to go to Armenia.
Oh, nice.
And study dance. It's like a university degree, but with the focus on dance.
Yeah.
I was so excited. I was 17 years old. Came home excited, told my father, I'm going to Armenia. He said, no way.
Parents, we love them.
Exactly. And that was coffee spill number 1. Chapter closed.
Chapter closed. So you could have been a dancer.
I could have been a dancer, but I ended up being an actor.
What happened between, I love the fact that you're from Egypt, so you speak Armenian because you went to the Armenian school, but you also speak Arabic for sure, because that's the language of that country. That gives you already 2 languages. We're speaking English.
Yes.
So I'm assuming that you're very fluent in this language as well. You have a 4th language? French, because you lived in Paris.
Yes, but before I lived in Paris, at the Armenian elementary school, Nubarian, we had 4 languages already. Armenian in kindergarten.
In Egypt?
Yes, in Egypt. And Arabic in kindergarten already, because it's the language of the country. 1st grade, English was introduced. 4th grade, French was introduced.
I see. So you did have a base before you went. And is that where you went from Egypt? Was Paris the next station?
No, I completed my secondary education at the English school in Cairo.
Yes.
And after that, I went to the American University in Cairo, where I did a lot of theater. That was my minor, sociology major and English minor.
Very nice.
And after that, I wanted to go to England, to London, to do theater. And I applied to Coffee Spill number 2 is coming up.
Okay.
And I wanted to go to RADA, Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts, and applied. And I was told, oh, it's too late for this year. We can audition you in January.
For the following
For the following September. And of course, at 23, you think, oh my God, I can't wait. Exactly, yes. I can't wait a year. But in the meantime, the London School of Economics offered me a place to do a master's degree in sociology.
Very nice.
And that was an important institution as well.
So was it really a coffee spill, or I think
it's not quite a coffee spill.
Yeah.
It's a choice, let's say. It's a choice. And I went and did my master's degree in sociology, but during that period that I was in London, I acted. So
you started acting
parallel. Exactly. We did a play at the Young Vic Theatre, George Bernard Shaw's Arms and the Man, and I was playing a lead character, Raina, at the Young Vic Theatre.
How did that feel? You're in
Felt
London,
great.
from Cairo.
Yeah, exactly.
Performing in a language that is not your maternal language,
Absolutely.
not the language of that country you were born and grew
Yeah.
up in. So as an I would say as an immigrant to that country, even
Right.
to study, you were performing in English,
In English,
for an
yes.
audience that is
But
usually quite
actually,
critical as
the
well.
character, the story with Arms and the Man, it's happening. It's the Serbs, and it's that story.
So it's an English with an accent.
With an accent, it's
Yeah,
fine. It
that's
can
what-
go,
yeah.
and it was an amazing experience.
But still,
So-
doing that in a different language, that requires a lot of work, hard work. And I think any creator has to work hard, and
Yeah.
they have to find their path, and sometimes their path leads them to another path.
Mm-hmm.
But the hard work remains. You need to be persistent and continue and learn constantly. And I'm glad to see that got you the first acting in London. Let's continue from there, because it's
Where
I'm
did
quite
I go
fascinated
after
with this
that?
story,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. Well, from London, Gerald's parents, mother actually, and stepdad were already based in Detroit, in the United States. And the plan was that eventually we would end up in the United States.
I see.
So after my year, after I got my master's degree in sociology from the London School of Economics, we went to the United States. We immigrated to Detroit. And that's when I wasn't doing very much, because we had just arrived. We're trying to figure out where we belong, what we do next, and so on.
And I think Detroit, I mean, I remember in Montreal how Detroit went from a huge automotive industry to a very dilapidated and
Yeah.
unemployment was very high, and people didn't know how to restructure and rebuild that city.
Totally.
So I can see why there wouldn't be so many opportunities there.
There was a theater company, and I did become a member of that. But then very quickly after that, Gerald got offered to be the artistic director of the Armenian Ardavas Theater Company in Los Angeles.
I see.
At the AGBU.
That's good.
So we moved to LA.
Yeah, where a lot of Armenians have ended up. Yeah, LA.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hollywood. Well, I can't say I was inactive. I did quite a lot of things. I did television. I had a news program, which I used to do with a colleague.
Oh, as an anchor.
As an anchor.
I
As an
see.
anchor. Little things like that. We did some poetry on television with Gerald. But the main thing was Saint Elsewhere, which was a television series back then.
Yeah.
I was on that, and a couple of stage productions, which got us amazing reviews, film, and things like that. But globally, overall, I call it my 10-year sentence.
Yeah, but that's also a growing period, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times creators, when they feel that when they're not creating or when they're not in the production phase,
Yeah.
that those are lost years. But I think there are times where we learn about ourselves, where we
Totally.
do our research, where we sort of gain data. We
And grow.
become that person that is going to create that new jumpstart of
Yeah.
who we'll be as an artist, as a performer. I think we are very hard on ourselves during that period of time.
I think it's the whole way of the West, especially United States, especially California and Los Angeles. They put so much pressure on you that it's like, we used to go to parties, for example, and you're in the middle of a conversation with someone and you go, "Hi, I'm Nora Armani, I'm an actor. Oh, what have I seen you in?" And if they immediately cannot pinpoint something big and amazing and,
Right.
household name thing, then you're not important. So immediately, I felt so many times at the earlier stages, 180 degrees, the guy or the woman turns around and walks away, and I'm like, I'm a human.
And there
first.
are so many everyday actors
Yeah.
that have made a living without necessarily becoming the
Household names, exactly.
the Julia Roberts of the screens, right?
Right.
So this has been their career path. They're good actors in their own right, and not everybody needs to be that highest shining
Exactly.
star to say that they are an actor, they are a performer, they are an artist. And I think that's that's fair to be true, and then that performative and competitiveness that's created in that industry is more like for the consumption of,
Absolutely.
right? So we sell this film
The brand.
because Brad Pitt is the lead.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's how we've started seeing, and then that's where indie films come in, and that's why we have a love for films that don't necessarily have a Brad Pitt or Julia Roberts in them. But let's take a break now and continue watching Coffee Spills and Pineapples. We'll be back with Nora Armani, our guest for today. What's the first recollection of the film that you did?
Well, the first ever recollection of films were home movies that we used to do with Gerald. And
with Gerald.
Yes,
I see. Okay.
Absolutely. And when we first got married in our home in Cairo, it was a rooftop. We had a roof, and on the roof we used to film things and so on. Comedies, basically, because that's his thing. And that was my first experience. My first television break came with Saint Elsewhere in Hollywood. So that was my first
when you moved from Detroit to LA.
Yes.
How was that? How did that feel? Or what was the experience like?
I don't know, it felt great. I remember the moment, there are moments like that in your life that I was working part-time at Air France and I'm like answering phones. And then suddenly a phone call comes and it's my agent. He goes, immediately go to Paramount Studios. They want to see you. And I'm like, oh my God. So I tell my supervisor, whatever, I'm not feeling well. I have to go home. Whatever.
Right.
And then I go, and I remember the face of the director, the guy, Victor Shu was his name, and immediately engaged me on the spot, and I ended up in this television series. And after that, we did a bunch of other things, some of them as actors, some of them as voice actors. So we did quite a lot of Hollywood work. But one of my major breaks came from Armenia.
I see. Which film?
Deadline in 7 Days by Arayer and Jakian. And he was in our home, and I remember that moment as well. And we had just had all the success with our two-person show with Gerald, Sojourn at Ararat. We were touring with it in its English and French versions, winning all these awards. And we were showing him clips from the film on television. He looked at the TV, he looked at me, and he goes, here is my actress. Here is the actress I'm looking for.
Excellent.
And on the spot, he said to me, come to Armenia.
That's awesome.
The most difficult years of Armenia. 1991,
so these are in the 90s,
early. There was a curfew. It was cold, dark. Started the idea of the next film, which I did, which was Last Station, directed by Harrison Khachaturian, on which I am co-director, co-scriptwriter.
Is Gerald in the film as well?
Yes, it's the two of us. It's our life.
This is very interesting. I mean, I don't know how much the personal conversation you want to have, but it's very interesting to see that you started your journey with Gerald. You're no longer together, but artistically and I guess creatively, you're still compatible in the sense
all the time.
Yeah. That's fascinating because a lot of married couples, once that coffee spills, a lot of the times we clean it up, we put it in the back burner, and then we look forward. It's great to see that you're still creating together.
In our case, because it's the creativity that brought us together in the first place, and we really respect each other's opinion. Even now, when I'm doing something, who to ask? Gerald.
Yeah. So I don't know, in the context of this podcast, and I see that really as one of your major pineapples, because as a human, to actually overcome such hurdles for the benefit of your lives, I see that as a huge success, and congratulations on
Thank
that.
You.
Definitely.
The way I look at it, life is too short to spend it in conflict. And if there are positive things about a relationship, why spill the baby with the bathwater?
Right. That's true.
Spill the water, keep the baby, and go on.
That's right. No, that's totally right. I think that's a very healthy outlook on life as a whole and relationships, not just married couples, friends. I think a lot of the times we don't give each other chances. A lot of the times we are quick to judge
Judgmental,
and allow ourselves to be judged, and we're okay with letting go of something that we built for years. Of course, at the end of at the end of our lives, these are the regrets that we have a lot of the times, and say, I should have kept that relationship. And I think I'm really happy that we're having this conversation, because the point of this podcast is not only to talk about the journey, but it's also what lessons, life lessons
from it. Yes.
we learn from it.
Yes, and also I must say that in the relationship case, it has to be both ways.
Of course.
I mean, if I was so open and wanted to continue the relationship, but Gerald was one of those jealous Armenian males, what can I do by myself?
That's right.
But
That's right.
his openness, his generosity, his understanding, that also makes a huge difference.
Thank you for this personal wink of your personal life. And I think that's important when we talk about our lives, when we're having such conversations.
Well, I always take pride in the fact that our festival does not go run around major big festivals in the world and invite films that are already making a big splash or attracting the spotlight, because those films don't need the additional platform.
Yeah.
And it's the other way around. It's the festival who's organizing it that needs that spotlight to come over to them. But what I pride in what we do is that we offer a platform in a place like New York, which is highly competitive, to filmmakers and films that otherwise may go completely unnoticed.
Right.
Because all the films we show are based on social issues. They have to deal absolutely with one or other social issue. And when I say social issues, it could be about environment, it could be about women, it could be about human rights, race, urbanization,
animal rights. I've seen some
animal rights.
So what's the website that people can follow?
ratedsrfilms.org.
You can see it written down here and follow that website. Thank you for this. And I want to ask about your retrospective. I mean, having a retrospective means that you've done so much work, enough work to actually have a retrospective happen. And I think Armenia prides in what you've done enough to have created this retrospective with the Cinema Center here in Armenia. That was in October 2025, and you were in Armenia, and you were greeted by the Cinema Center and the filmmaker that is Khachadurian, who is actually your co-filmmaker. Tell us about how all that happened and the feeling of being an artist who still has, I would dare to say, decades in front of her of making and creating, to have a retrospective with peers that are looking at you and saying, bravo for the work that you've done.
Yeah, actually, I was very humbled, to be honest, and I felt I don't have so many films to show. And actually, when I went back and I looked, I go, oh, yeah. And we showed two of the Armenian films that I was just talking about, Ara Yerenjakian's film and Last Station. Those were the two old films. And then we did a big, huge leap forward to 2024. And we screened a very interesting black and white film that I did with a Finnish filmmaker, which is called The Last Wish. And this filmmaker is called Raks Rinikangas. It's his 8th feature film. And again, like the independent feature films that not very many people know about and so on. And he offered me the opportunity to speak in any one of the languages that I speak.
And you chose Armenian.
And I chose Armenian. He said to me, I know you speak a lot of languages, and this director likes his characters, his actors, to speak different languages.
To be authentic in this sense,
Yeah, to give layers to the film. And I said to him, what about Western Armenian? And he liked the idea of this language, which is a UNESCO
endangered
language.
endangered language list. Yeah.
So we felt, okay, this is what we're going to do, and I speak Western Armenian. And the film was amazingly well received in Armenia because it is inspired from Dostoevsky's Brothers Karamazov. It's not about the novel, but the novel plays a key part in the film. And I play two women characters in that, and my characters are characters that come out of the novel. But again, it's against type because these characters are in their 20s and I'm not, obviously.
Yeah, I see. Okay. Thank you for this journey. One of the things we didn't talk about was your life in Paris, in France, and the fact that, as I understand, that you're ready to make another move back to that city.
France.
I mean, Paris is just like Paris, right? Everybody knows Paris for its beauty, its fashion, its culture, its history. Why do you like to live there? Why would you go back for a second round?
Because before 2004, when I moved back to the United States, I had already done 2 feature films. La Nouvelle Ève by Catherine Corsini with Karim Viard, and Voisin Voisine of Malik Shiban with Anémone, in which I had a very important role.
So you also perform in French.
So, and the Sojournet Ararat play that I was just mentioning has its also French version, which is called Le Chant d'Ararat. And we did it at Avignon. And
the whole thing was
French
done
version.
in English and French?
And French, yeah. So after those films, when I moved to New York, my relationship with France and the French cinema was interrupted.
Right,
Of course. And I went to New York and I did my play in New York and I did other stuff in New York. And then the whole shift went to United States and American cinema and Hollywood and what have you. So now I have a feeling, okay, after all these years of being over there, it's time to come back. And that's funny. The moment you decide to move, my life has always been like that. I just did a Hollywood production, which, completely contrary to everything I've done so far, is a comedy in which I play the mother. It's kind of my big fat Greek wedding.
Oh, wow, okay.
Sort of film, but only the Egyptian version.
Oh, it's in Arabic.
It's not.
Okay,
it's in English.
Ah, yes,
but
that's
Egyptians in California,
wow,
basically.
That's awesome. So what kind of role are you in the mother?
Yeah, the mother. It's very funny, and I was enjoying myself being a funny, loud woman, and
that's good because I remember
the film is called Falafel, by the way.
Falafel, Egyptian.
For now, but it
Because
could very well be change the title afterwards. It's interesting that the Egyptian thing comes back because when I went away from Egypt, years passed, and then one day with Last Station, the film that I was just talking about, it had its premiere at the Rotterdam Film Festival.
Right.
And I was invited, and I'm sitting at the breakfast table eating, and then I hear Egyptian Arabic, and I'm got all excited. I walk over to the table, and I see some Egyptian filmmakers and so on. And in Arabic, I say, good morning, sabah al-khair. And then, yeah, it could be in any Arabic,
so
exactly.
How did they know you were Egyptian?
No, they didn't, because I couldn't come up with a third word in Arabic.
Yeah, I can speak in Egyptian.
Now
Arabic.
I am very fluent. But at the time, after 10 years of living away from Egypt and not using the language, it had eradicated, it had gone away. Disappeared. And I was so embarrassed in front of them. I can't come up with a third word to save my life. And they were looking at me, who is this woman trying to look Egyptian, trying to pretend she's Egyptian? But later, a few days in association with them, it all started coming back.
Of course, it's like riding a bike.
Exactly. And I got invited to the Cairo Film Festival, and that opened up an Egyptian chapter.
I wanted to ask, did you go back? So I'm glad that you're bringing this up.
Yeah.
And so what is
I
that
was
chapter
offered
all about?
to do a play, The King and I, in Arabic, with Muhammad Sobhi, television series, with Gamil Ratib, Salah Saadani, etc., very well-known names.
In Arabic, we would say
Yalla Al-Asdiqa, which was, unfortunately, the director has passed away since. And Ismail Abdel Hafiz, let's remember him. And I went and did a television series of a big series, 18 episodes, of which I was in 6 and so on.
How awesome is that for you to go back to your native city where you were working, where you lived, you studied, you grew up, and to actually do something tangible, not just a visit back home, but to work there.
And it's very interesting because we were talking about independent cinema. I love independent cinema, but then very few people end up seeing it. But when you do television, the entire world sees it.
Right.
And when I was doing the series, I was invited to be on Sabah El Khair Ya Masr, which is Good Morning Egypt. It's the Egyptian thing. And then suddenly it puts into perspective. I go to Armenian television and I go, okay, even if the entire country drops everything they're doing and watches that program, that's 3 million people.
In Cairo, in Egypt?
At the time it was 60, now it's 110. And the most surprise I got was the latest television series I did in New York, The Better Sister. Which is...
Tell us about that.
It's been translated into many languages, and it was released May 29 of this year. I play a small part in it.
2025.
2025. And the first 2 weeks of its release, it had 1.5 billion viewers worldwide.
And this is because of the online streaming, I'm assuming. Because
it was on Amazon
Prime. You go. As we're wrapping up, what I would like you to leave us with is a pineapple. So if you were to say, you know, there are many pineapples that I heard, many successes, many achievements, many happy stories, and things that seem to have made you proud of yourself. If you were to leave us with one story of a pineapple that you say, you know, this is a beautiful thing that I want to bring up.
Wow, can I bring up a few?
Sure, let's
a bunch of pineapples. Well, first of all, I'm very honored and proud of the awards that I've been given.
Right.
I'm not going to go back and cite all of them, but the most recent one was at the Golden Apricot last year, which Last Station was the closing award, closing film.
Congratulations.
Thank you. The Guild, the film
Guild,
producers, professionals, surprised me and Gerald with a special Guild Award for our performances in Last Station. So that was a very special moment for me. Another pineapple was when I co-produced the Palestinian film Haifa by Rashid Masharawi.
Yeah, I don't know about this.
I was a co-producer from France on that film, which was a Dutch, French, German, and Palestinian co-production. And it went to Cannes in the official selection of Un Certain Regard.
Wow, that's
So that's
great.
another big pineapple.
That in itself is a great achievement right there. Congratulations.
Yes.
Second time.
Thank you. And the third one is my next film, which I did with Rax Renikangas.
Yes.
Of course, when you do a film with the same director, a second film, that's already a pineapple.
That's already
which
a
means
sign of
then
success.
they
course.
like you enough, or
Yes.
you didn't fight or whatever, didn't say, I will never work with this actress.
Right.
So it's called Jukebox, which is a film based on Peter Handke's novel, and in which I play an angel. So it's a lead again, and now it's in distribution. So
And are you speaking a specific language?
I speak French in that.
Oh, there you go.
Yes.
Very nice.
So
Very nice.
speak English, Arabic, French, Armenian. So
I want us to just conclude by thanking you for the time and for the beautiful stories and all the different aspects of the world that you've touched and you bring in your creative productions that you do, either be on television or film. With the festival, also, I want to stress on that festival because I've experienced it personally. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And many, many, many happy days ahead and many beautiful productions in the coming years.
Thank you so much for offering me the opportunity to revisit my life. Because when we are sitting alone in our room, we feel we're so hard on ourselves and we feel, what am I? Who am I? I haven't done anything. I'm not significant and so on, you know? And then we hit ourselves and it's bad. We shouldn't do that.
Right.
But like this, talking about it, suddenly you go, oh yeah, okay, I'm not so
Well, the idea
useless.
of this podcast is also to bring everyday creatives, and sometimes they are younger, sometimes they are older, which means they have done more, and thinking about the process, what they are doing and how they are doing it, actually is the gem of this podcast, because they all come back with the same responses. Thank you for this look back on the work that I've done.
Yeah.
And then they realize it's actually a lot of work. Thank you so much. Follow us on YouTube, Spotify, listen to our podcasts, give us feedback, share with friends.